Happy Monday. Today I'm excited because you know why? I finally got him. What am I talking about? I finally caught the stalker that has been knocking on my door nonstop since last week, Thursday. And the only time that he stopped was actually yesterday, Sunday. He didn't come around my door not one time, which I thought it was hysterical because my guy friend from DC area came down to spend the night with me to make sure that I was okay. He was playing my bodyguard. This whole situation reminds me of that movie with Kevin Costner when he used to, the bodyguard. But anywho, he's caught. And the only reason I got him caught is because I finally got my doorbell camera in the mail from Amazon. Shout out to Amazon, by the way. Amazon saved my life, low key. Um, the brand of the doorbell camera that I bought is called Blink, and it's a very good brand. It's similar to Ring. And on top of that, this morning I had an update with the leasing office as well as the officer that's assigned to my case in regards to this issue. And from what the officer told me, I technically don't have the rights to get a protective order against him because even though he showed signs of stalking and harassment, um, he basically said in Henrico County, Virginia, which is where I'm at, uh, to meet the parameters of the legal aspect in order for you to put a protective order against somebody, you have to show proof that you endured bodily harm, some type of physical contact, like assault, attempt to, unalive somebody, for example. And I said, I'm not letting it get that far. I'm not fighting for my life over a crazy ass stalker. Not doing that. My life is too precious and valuable to be fighting somebody and just trying to prove that somebody is violent just to get a protective order is ridiculous. That it's insane. As many times the police have been dispatched over this whole entire weekend because of him, it didn't do anything. He technically said I couldn't really press charges, but he said as long as I had that doorbell camera and he's caught on tape coming to my door back and forth and I build a case log basically, even though he came to my door at least 25 times already, then they could pursue charges. But that's not all. The leasing office, hopefully, fingers crossed, might be able to place a trespass on him. Hello, welcome. So we'll see what happens. I'm praying that I get a trespass order against this individual because I just want it to stop. And I'm not home not right now. I'm at the gas station down the street, Wawa, my favorite gas station. And what's so funny is that ever since I installed my lovely doorbell camera today, um, everybody that walks by my door that notices the doorbell camera, they like super googly eyed. It's so funny. Why are all the police rolling up here? Ooh, they scared me. They just rolled up all fast and shit. But I'm just like, are y'all looking for something or are y'all just getting coffee? Maybe they're on a coffee break. They're probably looking for coffee and donuts. I'm good now. My stalker has finally been caught on camera now that I installed my doorbell camera. How are you? I'm from Texas. Welcome. Where are you from? But anyway, I'm just so glad that the brother man cop was cool. I call him Officer Buns of Steel because he literally looks like Buns of Steel. Like he is super fit and athletic, tall. I want to say like at least 6'2", 6'3". He's super tall, slim, very very like athletic physique, and very nice, very comforting, very caring. He actually gave me a lot of tips to build my case, but the cool thing is that I got a police report this morning. Okay, you're from Iran. Welcome. And since I got a police report number this morning from him, he did me a huge favor by pulling that footage from the leasing office. So the leasing office basically said that even though they pulled the footage, the quality, quote unquote, is not as nice. They said it's kind of blurry, so you won't be able to get a clear picture of his face for identity purposes, making my life harder. I said that's okay because once that doorbell camera gets set up, I know his dumb ass is gonna come back around and walk by my door and knock on my door like an idiot. This whole entire time, he just walks by my door, knocks on it, looks around, and walks off. Never says anything, never said what he wanted. Even after I screamed my head off at him in my Becky voice, he still kept coming around. So clearly he has a problem. Clearly, we all know that. But I'm excited. I finally got a clear, crisp image on my doorbell camera. And I sent that clip to my lovely leasing office just now. And I also left a voicemail for my officer that's assigned on my case, so that way he can get this clip as well for evidence. Because now that I have a positive ID, he's screwed. He can't say, "Oh, that wasn't me." No, it's you. You're on the doorbell camera, and it's time stamped. It has a date and time on it, so he can't lie about anything. That's the best part about this whole situation. Man, when I tell y'all, doorbell cameras will save you a whole bunch of headache. I guarantee you his black ass ain't gonna come back now. I guarantee you he's not gonna come back now. I feel like jumping for joy. I'm so ecstatic. Even though it's been a shitty situation this whole entire time, I feel somewhat relieved now that I got a clear image of him on a clip. And the best part about these doorbell cameras, I don't know if y'all are aware, but most of them can save your clips to like a cloud storage that comes with the doorbell, and then also um, you could do other things with the clips. You can send them, you can email them. You can also, in most cases, contact 911 directly from your phone on your doorbell camera. Like you don't even have to be at home. You could talk to the person through the camera on your phone and ask them like what the hell do they want. But the funny thing is that he didn't even press the button because he knows he's screwed. Because once he realized he had the deer headlights in the face look like, oh shit, I've been caught, and he saw my doorbell camera this time. He was just like, and then he started laughing because he know he's caught, and then he walked away. He didn't even knock. Like it shocked him. He didn't expect to see that doorbell camera. So I was like, yeah, while you're watching me, I'm watching you. And every time you walk by that motion detector, I got more and more and more evidence. But yeah, I'm just so happy I finally got a clip of him walking in front of my door, approaching my door. Because when I say it's hard, y'all, it's really hard. It's frustrating to know that you can't do any type of paperwork when it comes to like civil matters like this unless it's like a case of like domestic violence or SA, aka, like grape. Because like you can't say the R word, you gotta say grape. Because YouTube is sensitive. But anyway, like stuff like that, it like literally takes an act of God to get an emergency protective order. A judge is not going to give you an emergency protective order, even if you have the person's information. Like you have to have like hard evidence of some type of violent behavior. And it's so sad because I'm just like, even though he's clearly doing some form of harassment and stalking, following me, knocking on my door, never saying anything, never breaking and entering, never attempted to kick in my door, if that's not enough, he was like, mm-mm. I said, that's bad. I said, note to self, get the hell out of Henrico County and move to a whole other county. I got that now. Because, baby, if they don't trespass him off the property, oh, I will be leaving that leasing office. Not the leasing office, those apartments. I will be leaving those apartments when my lease is up next year. Because I have 15 months to go. It's not fun. I'm stuck there for a very long time. And until he gets off the property, I'm not renewing my lease. They can forget that shit. This whole experience has turned me off from living in this area. And honestly, I really like Virginia. I really like the East Coast. I just don't like Richmond because of this experience. And it has really left a bad taste in my mouth because of all the issues I've been dealing with because of this guy. Again, I've never said anything to this man. He's never said anything to me. I simply did a head nod. We'll never do that again. Now I'm just like straight New Yorker with everybody in the building. I make no eye contact with them unless you say something to me. They ask me, "Hello, how you doing?" I keep moving. Like I'm being real cutthroat, dry, and short only resident in that building. I don't make small talk. I keep moving. I keep moving. I keep walking fast like a New Yorker because I'm not giving you Southern hospitality. I'm not giving you that, oh, I'm soft or I'm weak because I'm having a whole conversation, da 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 da, and I don't know anybody here. Like, we're not doing that. But what I will do, I will mind my black owned business, keep it moving, keep walking, and go home and be unbothered. But yeah, I'm somewhat relieved, but I'm not all the way relieved. I will be all the way relieved in full blown celebration mode the minute he gets off that property. I will be relieved, full 100%. I'm like 50% relieved. I'm 50% relieved because I have a positive identification of him. I have him on footage. I have him in the cloud. That's one half of it. The other half is getting him again off that property. But it's a mess. It's a hot mess. It's been a very hectic weekend. It's very sad that I've been losing sleep behind a stranger that I don't know in my own home that actually lives there. And the fucked up part about this whole situation I found out is that the leasing office said he's not even on the same floor as me. He's on a different floor. I said, wait a minute. If you know this individual, he's on a different floor, how does he get to my door so quickly? Each time I dispatch the cops, he would come right back 10 minutes later. Just like, to be honest, I don't know. He's probably taking a stairwell next to the elevator that's right there in your hallway. Or he's just camping out in the lobby, hiding somewhere, and then just walks down the hallway. I said, that's crazy. And what really ticked me off is when I found out this morning, the leasing office said that they only have cameras in the common areas. So, like their lobby, their precious leasing office area, the mail room, the clubhouse, and like all the exits of the building, like the stairwell exits, the parking garage. That's it. There are no cameras in the hallways where the residents actually live. That's really bad. And I told her, I said, if I were you after this situation, I would highly advise that y'all actually install some cameras. I know y'all don't care about sacrificing your precious budget and y'all act like you don't have money, but this obviously is $1 billion property. Y'all have money. You just don't care about the safety of the residents. But yeah, I would advise put some cameras in the fucking hallways and stop being cheap. Okay? And then I also told her you also need to hire some type of courtesy patrol officers for this site because as luxury as my apartments are, they're like high-rise condos literally. They don't have any courtesy patrol officers on that site. I said that's crazy. It really baffled me. I couldn't believe she said there was no type of security presence after hours. All they have is maintenance and emergency maintenance. That's it. There's no security. You literally have to call the cops if you have an issue on that site. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, I'm spent. As much as I love this place, I don't foresee myself probably being here very long after my lease is up. So don't be surprised if I don't renew my lease because of this experience. So I just hope that to pray to God that y'all trespass this individual because if y'all don't, I will go to the news. I already told her. I said I'll happily go to the news and I'll make sure you have a bad reputation. I don't give a fuck. Like this is my livelihood. This is my life. You may not care about my life because I'm a black woman, but I care about my life and I care about my safety. So, unless you want to be on the news and you want to be famous, yeah, I would work on that trespass order ASAP. Cause I let her know, like, I'm not playing no games with this man. This man is a crazy. He's delusional. And the officer made me laugh this morning. I call him again Officer Buns of Steel because he's like super fit, like Michael B. Jordan. I said he was like, "Well, it sounds like a similar incident that we had with someone at another apartment complex." I said, "Yeah, what did they do?" He said, "Well, the guy was watching someone at the pool, and then he followed them to their door, and he kept knocking, but he would never say anything. He would walk away." Then when we approached him and asked him what his deal was, we found out he was autistic. He was on the spectrum. He may be on the spectrum. I said, nah, this nigga ain't on no spectrum. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a young nigga. This is a hoodlum. He is doing hoodlum behavior. I said, I know when somebody's on the spectrum. I know what that shit looks like. That's not it. He always came to my door with a solo cup in his hand. Obviously, most of the time he would be intoxicated. That was one half of the issue too. I said, ain't nobody on the spectrum gonna be walking around with a damn solo cup in their hand, coming and knocking on their doors all hours of the night after midnight and 2 a.m. fucking with people for no reason and not telling me what they want. He was like, yeah, that case. It sounds like he may have thought he was at the right room and didn't realize he's not at the right room. I said, no, he knows exactly where the hell he lives. I said, let me tell you something about him. And this is how I know he's intentionally doing this crap to me. When I moved here in the middle of February, he did not do this behavior. He's seen me before. And I'm pretty sure he's seen where I've been turning in that hallway where I live. He only started doing this last week, Thursday, when he noticed that my movers dropped off all my household goods on Tuesday. And 3 days later, not even 3 days later, 2 days later, that's when the knocking started. And he got aggressive each time. Each time he got mad because I wouldn't open the door for his raggedy ass, he would knock harder to startle me, to really get my attention, to make me open the door, to make me mad. I wasn't opening that door. I screamed at him. I said, "You need to get the fuck off my doorstep before I call the cops." I said, "The cops are on the way. You need to get the fuck out of here. What is your problem?" And he would never say what he wanted. He never said what his deal was. He never said who he was looking for. I said, at first, I thought he was looking for somebody. But then when I realized he was being a jackass, he kept coming back every hour on the hour, knocking on my door and walking off and looking googly eyed and laughing at his phone. That's how I knew, oh, I'm dealing with a crazy. This is a very emotionally disturbed person. We call that EDP. EDP is simply means that somebody has a mental issue. He clearly has a big mental issue. I see that now. And I don't know if he thinks it's funny or if he thinks it's cool to like just constantly harass me and startle me or try to scare me or intimidate me because I'm a single black female and I'm alone. But it's not working. I'm not afraid because on the other side of that door is a 9 mil Smith and Wesson have you undressing. He don't know that, and I'm doing my best not to use deadly force because that's why I got the police involved. I'm trying to do everything the paper way, but the minute he kicks in that door, that's when he'll meet my Smith and Wesson. That's when he will see deadly force. But I do everything in my power to exhaust every option I have before it gets that bad. Because I'm not trying to get kicked out of my apartments because I just moved there a month ago. I don't have time for these white people to kick me out because I popped off a firearm at somebody because I was trying to protect myself. No. And I'm not trying to be on the news either. So yeah, no. It's not even that deep. To be honest, it's just a matter of getting him trespassed off the property. Because again, once he gets trespassed, that is automatic jail time. And I don't know if y'all know how trespass warnings work, but depending on the district, depending on the property managers at the apartments, they can actually trespass you from their property for at least up to a year to like 3 years or more. It's just like retail stores when people commit like petty crimes, like petty theft, they can trespass you for like a year or they can ban you from Walmart for life. Like there are a lot of motherfuckers who don't know how to stop stealing with sticky fingers and they get banned from places like Walmart for life. Can't even go into a Walmart no more. They picture their little mug shot posted all over the wall, and the minute they caught on sight, they go straight to jail. And that's exactly what I want. I want his black ass to go straight to fucking jail. Do not collect $200, straight to jail. And here's the kicker. I also found out this morning they said that he also has another tenant apparently on his lease. So he's not alone. So I don't know if he lives with somebody that's on his lease or if someone co signed on his lease for him to stay. Because I have a feeling that this motherfucker is unemployed. I don't think he works on the job. And I'm going to tell you why. When he knocked on my door this morning, it was 9 o'clock, okay? 9 o'clock in the morning. He's never knocked on my door at 9 o'clock in the morning. So that right there tells me you ain't got no job, Negro. Because if you had a job, you would not be knocking on somebody's door at 9 a.m. on a Monday. Let's be honest. I mean, it's possible he could work from home, but even if he did work from home, he wouldn't be walking around patrolling like a fucking prowler, knocking on people's doors like that. And I'm the only door, by the way, that he's knocked on the entire time. He's never disturbed any of my other neighbors. That's how I know he's intentionally targeting me and me only. And I don't know what gave him the idea or the thought that I was trying to flirt with this man or get with him again. I never said two words to this mug. I don't know him. I don't know his name. I don't have his contact information. At first, I said, well, maybe he's looking for the old tenant. Maybe he's looking for Daquan, his plug. I kept getting some random mail from a nigga named Daquan that no longer lives there. And I said, maybe Daquan owes him some money. Maybe Daquan was his plug, his weed man. I don't know. Shit. Because Daquan did have an Amazon package when I first moved there in the middle of February, but I returned it to the leasing office a long time ago so they could send it back to Amazon. But I don't think it's related to that. I honestly think he's just being a real perverted jackass that's trying to intimidate me because I'm single and I'm alone. And he knows I'm single and I'm alone because he's seen me by myself all the time. He's never seen me with anybody else. So I don't know, but I just think it's quite awfully strange how he did not knock on my door the entire day of Sunday, but then he knocked on my door this morning. And I think the reason why he didn't knock on my door the entire day is because my guy friend, again from DC, spent the night with me to play bodyguard and protect me. And my guy friend patrolled the whole entire building when I was taking a nap, when I was actually getting some real sleep. He walked the whole entire perimeter. He walked outside in the courtyard. He walked in the clubhouse. He was letting motherfuckers know, like, yeah, I got that thing on my hip. Come fuck with it if you want to. Come fuck with it if you want to. You come out this door, you gonna get talked to, and you're gonna wish you never came back. And he told me just now when he texted me, I seen that guy. He was there in the clubhouse yesterday. I seen him. I said, so he was here. He said, yeah, but he knew not to come over because he knew what was up because he know that there was a man inside. So that's why he never came by. I said that is so funny how he never came by the entire day yesterday, but then he started this bullshit up again this morning at 9. The second time, by the way, when he actually got caught on my doorbell camera, was almost 6 o'clock this evening. He just got caught on camera walking in my door. He was about to knock. I seen him. He looked. He was about to raise his hand like this, and he was like, "Oh shit, she got a camera." And he started laughing, and then he walked away. He walked this way. He didn't know what to do with himself. He was so confused. It spooked him. Once he saw that I had a camera, he's like, "Oh fuck, I can't come back over here. Now she got me on camera." Yeah, you're screwed now, and they know exactly who you are. You're done. But yeah, I am so happy I got a clear image of that bastard. I'm so happy because now I got a positive identification of this fool. It's just really sad how many things I had to go through just to make sure that someone knew that my life was in danger and it was being threatened by another resident that lives there, sadly. Not a stranger, well, he is a stranger, but not like anybody off the street. Like, is this not like this is a homeless man or a wino or crackhead that don't live there? This is an actual resident who appeared to look cool when I first seen him when I first moved in there, because he would always be on his laptop in the clubhouse. I didn't think nothing of it. He looked normal to me, but he's a crazy. He's a fucking crazy, and I was just like, oh my God, like what's wrong with people? Like what is wrong with our society? Why can't people just leave people the fuck alone and keep it pushing? I don't understand. But like I said, I'm somewhat relieved, 50% relieved I got him on tape. And that tape got sent to the leasing office and and to my assigned officer on my police report. Yeah, cuz I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm just so thankful that I actually had someone who cared enough to actually give me a police report number for this incident and actually pull the footage in front of me. I didn't see the footage, but he signed a release form to pull the footage so that way they can make a positive ID. But yeah, it's nuts. Like you have to be aware of your surroundings. All I got to tell y'all is that be very careful. Be very hyper vigilant wherever you are. I don't care how nice the neighborhood is. Again, I don't live in the hood. I live in the suburbs. Literally 15 minutes from downtown in some badass high-rise condo style apartments that are very fucking expensive. And apparently that don't mean shit because there are a lot of cuckoos and crazies. Apparently it's like to stalk the shit out of you. But yeah, I've been through the ringer and I've had enough. And I'm fighting back with paperwork. Little by little, I'm trying my best to fight back with paperwork. Let's see what y'all saying. I don't know the whole story, but I'm glad you have been able to keep yourself safe. Hopefully things will calm down going forward. I hope so too. I appreciate that. Like I said, I was never afraid of this man, nor was I intimidated because I come from the South. I'm from Texas, baby. We be packing the heat. Smith and Wesson have you undressing, and I'm not trying to let it get that far again. There's a 9 mil on the other side of that door. He, like I said, he just don't know. He think that I'm just vulnerable and I'm weak and I'm soft and I'm fresh meat because I'm a new resident, but not realizing I'm armed to the nines. I got a 9 mil, I got a blade, I got a can of mace, and a can of bear spray waiting on that ass. Like, I have the whole arsenal full of it, full of protective gear. He just don't realize it though. But yeah, you just gotta stay prayed up. I tell people all the time, especially women, black women in particular, protect yourselves. Find some type of protection, if especially if you live alone, because you never know who's watching you. That's the creepiest part. I moved out of state thinking I was gonna start over and have a nice, fresh, cool lifestyle, unbothered in a nice neighborhood, and then here goes this bullshit. And I've only been here for a month. I haven't even been here that long, y'all. It's really sad, and it really pisses me off that I can't even feel comfortable or somewhat safe in my own home because of this experience. But don't worry, I'll be good and damn comfortable the minute they trespass that motherfucker again. I was waiting on that trespass order because once they get that in, his ass is grass. Because anytime you come back, that's automatic jail. Automatic jail, baby. Automatic jail. But anyway, I'm going to get off of here. I've been on here almost 30 minutes. I figured I'd yak a little bit before I actually go home because he literally came to my door around 5:51 p.m., approximately about an hour ago. So I'm trying to let the time pass by because I don't want him to know exactly when I'm home because he don't know if I'm home or not. He think I'm there all day, every day, but not realizing I'm not home right now. I'm just down the street at the gas station. And plus, I didn't want to be home talking on YouTube to you guys because I didn't want to be a sitting duck in my parking garage because I don't know if he'd be lurking, trying to see what kind of vehicle I drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't stupid. But anyway, I will talk to y'all guys later. I'm about to go try to relax in my own home for once now that I got that doorbell camera watching his ass every 5 seconds and sip on a little brew and do a little celebrating now that I got a positive identification of him. But y'all take care. Again, just stay prayed up in these times and stay vigilant. You never know who's watching. All right? All right. Y'all take care. Bye.